new Dell computers that we're giving away. So plug that word into the website, and today you can enter the contest to win a Dell a day. Meantime, likely, if you live in southern Ontario, you were woken up by some severe thunderstorms. I know I certainly was. Kept me up all night and full effect for most of the evening. It was such intense weather that we saw. And what we're looking at right here is this line of thunderstorms. You can clearly see it right here on our satellite radar. That's the cold front that ripped through southern Ontario. Thankfully, there were no tornadoes touched down that were confirmed, although people did report seeing funnel clouds. It was just an active night, to say the very least. Now, this system is dissipating and it's heading to Quebec, and it will be affecting even parts of New Brunswick later on in the afternoon hours. But it's going to be non-severe in nature, perhaps isolated severe. So with daytime heating, especially in the afternoon hours, it could spark up something a little bit more severe, but likely it's just going to be heavy downpours and some strong winds that we'll be experiencing. Meantime, to the Ontario story, things are cooling off just a little bit, of course, after that cold front that passed through. So northern Ontario, we're expecting to hit highs of about 19, 18 for you, and in Timmins, 26 though, Niagara Falls, so a little bit warmer. Now to Atlantic Canada, where we are expecting the system, especially affecting us through the Quebec region. Sept-Îles, you'll be looking into some rain this afternoon. But everybody else is looking quite nice, really, for the day, and enjoy it, because come Friday, really, we'll be into the rains for the majority of the Maritimes, especially the overnight hours. And it will be tapering off throughout the day on Friday, so it's not necessarily an all-day event. Like I had mentioned, the system did lose momentum. It's not as severe, so we are even seeing high pressure move in place, and conditions could be very nice by Friday evening. Now to the west story, we're looking at high and dry conditions for the next few days, actually, so enjoy it. High temperatures, sunny skies, more in your long range. Let's begin your long range on Friday, where, like I had mentioned, seasonal and high pressure well in place for the prairies. High pressure also affecting us in Ontario and parts of Quebec, so quite nice indeed. And Friday, we're still looking at the remnants of that very strong system that we had in Ontario today. That's going to be affecting mostly Newfoundland still, but the Maritimes should be clear throughout most of the day. The west looking great Friday and Saturday as well, with more humid conditions for southern Ontario. Showers do come into the Quebec area, so keeping note of that, and watch how Irene begins to creep into the picture on Saturday, and more so on Sunday. That could be affecting us a little bit more. Strong, heavy downpours is what we're expecting with Hurricane Irene, and strong winds as well. Fredericton, for instance, we're looking at a potential for 50 millimeters of rain in just that day alone. High pressure still dominating to the west, and on Monday, again, we are looking at stormy weather for the east. Stay with us. Your local forecast is coming up in less than 60 seconds, and after that, we're talking about all those stories making weather news. One big story that we're following and that we're covering is these crazy storms that ripped through southern Ontario yesterday. In less than a minute, your local forecast is coming up, and after that, we're talking active weather. And one story we're certainly following in the Atlantic is Cuba. Today, the storm system is ripping through the Bahamas, and it is heavy rains and very strong winds. More on this coming up. Stay with us. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Weather Network. I'm Kasia Bodurka, and we are talking active weather. We had seen a lot across Ontario yesterday, and that very same system that rumbled many parts of Ontario is now pushing its way east, hence the unsettled area of instability right here in and around the Quebec area. Also, parts of eastern Ontario, the National Capital Region, for instance, you could still be seeing some unsettled weather today. In the meantime, take note, it's really quite beautiful across the prairies. It's high and dry, high pressure in place with a nice ridge in the jet stream, keeping those warm temperatures to us in southern regions of the prairies. Now, in the meantime, let's talk about that active weather we saw. Quite a lightning show we had in the sky skies. It kept me up overnight, certainly. And here's a summary of events that took place in southern Ontario. Kettle Point baseball-sized hail was reported. You can only imagine what that means for the insurance companies. And in there, a funnel cloud was reported as well. In fact, Environment Canada is currently investigating a tornado which may have tracked between Cambridge to Burlington yesterday. So just intense weather it was. Now, meantime, this system, it is losing momentum. That's the good news, but it is still producing rains. It is in the Quebec area throughout this afternoon, so a rainy day for you in Quebec, and pushing its way into the Atlantic coast, into the Atlantic area. So more so New Brunswick, you're going to be seeing the rain later on today, and then throughout the overnight hours into Friday, it's going to be crossing the Atlantic provinces, mostly the Maritimes, and into Newfoundland the following day. Now across the country, these are the conditions we're expecting. Again, quite nice. There is a potential for some rain in and around the foothills due to convection, but temperatures around 23 degrees for you in Calgary, 23 also for you in Halifax with sunny skies today.